What's up, guys? So behind me you can see the 1958 Corvette, which I alluded to in one of my previous videos, and got it down on the lift here and starting to go through all of the parts that are required to put this thing together. So my dad's in town for the week, and it's kind of finally getting to that point where, you know, this car's been painted now for 3 years, maybe even more. And it's been collecting parts, cleaning parts, and just trying to find the time where I'm here and he's here so that we can actually put some hours into it. So definitely got our work cut out for us on this guy. He's owned the car since 1975, so it's quite a while. He's 74 years old, so hoping that we can have this done for him before he turns 75 and he can enjoy it some. The car has been painted in this blue. I don't know what the blue is. I do believe it's a Chevrolet color. He actually picked it off a paint chip, and it shines really nice when it's not all dusty. I'm sure on camera it probably still looks pretty good. And instead of having a lot of chrome, I actually opted to do a darker gunmetal color on a lot of these trim pieces, which I'm sure you'll see a little bit later when more assembly is happening. And the inserts on the doors are a satin silver, so that's not a gloss down there on those inserts. It's more of a satin finish, and the interior is going to be all black, and he just had the seats reupholstered, so that's all in there. Underneath the hood, once we get this thing open, is a 327, so it's not the original motor that came in the car when it was new. It was changed at one point, and nobody really knows the story, because I even asked my dad, and he said that the individual that he purchased it from had motor work done, but he denied that it was ever changed or swapped from the original. So not 100% sure what happened there. Car was a California car originally, and ended up in Toronto where my dad purchased it. So he had it in the most northern part of Ontario possible and enjoyed it up there, and that's when he had parked it, and the project sort of sat for many years. So once he got it back down to southern Ontario down here, that's when he started committing a little bit more into it and starting this restoration process. So here it is. It's probably going to be a lot of time here. Not sure how much of it I'll be able to capture, but I will share as much content about this car with you guys as possible. You can see the trunk lid here. It's looking pretty shiny. So that's sitting here, and right now I got the manual out here and was trying to find out all these little teeth that go in the center grille and the front section of the car there. Trying to figure out how they went, because oddly enough, every single one of them looked a little bit different here in terms of the way that they were pinched, and they also sat on the main support a little bit differently. So referring back to this manual, believe it or not, there was actually 4 different part numbers to make up those 9 pieces. So the center piece is unique, and then these 2 are unique, then these 2, then these 2, probably based on the curvature of the way that this piece is. So it's really handy to have a manual like this. Sometimes these diagrams can look confusing, but just being able to see some part numbers and then looking on the inside here and finding the numbers kind of allowed us to figure out all the pieces to the puzzle. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting all these little studs and the hardware and everything else put in so that can get these guys mounted to here. And this is the gunmetal color that I was telling you guys about, because normally all of this would be chrome. So in this case, it's all of this gunmetal gray. So it should be a pretty nice contrast on the car. There just would have been so much chrome work involved. You can actually see some old chrome pieces here that were blasted down and they just weren't in good shape. So there are a lot of new aftermarket pieces from Corvette America. There's a brand new set of front disc brakes over there as well, because the car was 4-wheel drum originally. And then we have, you know, all the original stainless pieces here. So this is everything that goes around, like the inserts on the doors and the body panels and everything. So all these were purchased new, and they were all prepped and painted in that gunmetal color. So there you have it, guys. Gonna get to it here and just kind of focus on little areas on this car because there are so many parts, and I have never touched a 58 Corvette before, let alone any Corvette. So it's gonna be a new learning experience. Most scared and intimidated by the doors and the window regulators and all that stuff, but we'll get there. So there you have it, guys. 58 Corvette. So I got all the teeth for the grill mounted up, and I cannot believe how much this weighs. Like, this would ruin your Kia or Honda Civic if it hit you, and this isn't even the bumper. Like, this is just for looks. So it came out really nice. Really happy with the way that all bolted together. It was really important to know that each teeth had their set of part numbers. So again, the middle guy was unique. Then these two were one part number, and then these two were one part number, so on and so forth. And that's what made up everything there, mostly because probably the curvature of the main bracket and the backside, all these guys were angled a certain way. So you can see here I got some other pieces for the front. So for the front end of the car here, just kind of going through all the brackets and everything else, and my dad was trying to remember where everything goes. And I don't know how I feel about this, but I think it'll be okay. You'll notice this is actually chrome. And what happened was when we were getting everything done, and like I said, we were trying to delete the chrome, and my body guy tried to sandblast these original ones down, and they were just too pitted, they were bent, and he said, hey, just order new ones. The problem was by the time they showed up, he'd already painted all the other stuff, and we were intending to paint them the gunmetal to match everything else, but now it's chrome. So we're actually going to try it and see how it looks, because you have the chrome there, you have the chrome on the outside of the emblem here, and there's chrome around the windshield. And it's actually a pretty big piece, which I can show you guys just sitting over here. So you can see down here, there's a big chrome lip, and that actually goes all the way up and around the windshield there. So there'll be a little bit of chrome, and maybe it'll be a good mix. Maybe there's going to be too many contrasting colors. We won't really know until everything is bolted on. So gone through and spread out parts everywhere, gone through what are the new parts, what are the old parts, and trying to come up with a game plan, because like I said, my dad's only here for 1 week. So he got the hood off. Now you guys can kind of see a little bit of the engine bay here. It's really dusty. Again, the car's been sitting in storage like this for quite some time. So the idea here is to actually pull those carbs off, pull off the lower intake, and he's got a Phytech system that he's going to bolt on there. Just easier drivability and probably more efficient, so on and so forth. And again, since this motor isn't true and original to the car, it's really not going to matter that much in the grand scheme of things. So he'll probably be working on that tomorrow. Probably get him in a video so he can talk about the car a little bit, and you guys aren't just hearing it all from me. Secondhand information isn't always the best information. So that's pretty much it. Made some pretty good progress, you know, for the first day. This is all the bumper parts and components for the whole front end. That's going to go down in here in this area, and those brackets bolt into the frame. So we'll have to get the car up a little bit and figure all of that stuff out. And the idea is to get any of the painted stuff, so the trim, the bumpers, the glass, anything that, you know, can be potentially scratched or damaged, bolted onto the car so it's kind of more one piece, and get the Phytech system on, and then get the front wheel disc converted and the brakes on, so that way You know, the car's just a little bit more together. There's not so many little parts here and there that are bouncing around, sitting in boxes, so on and so forth. So everything is kind of spread out all over the place here. Not all Corvette stuff. Got Dutch kit sitting here. I got another one sold. So this is actually going to New Jersey to restoration shop. They got some project they're working on. So I'm pretty excited to see what they're going to do with this. So that's super cool. The white Dutch coupe here, that's just kind of out of the way for now. And then we got project tax return sitting over there. So if you're watching this for the Corvette, then don't mind all the Fox body talk. But if you guys are watching for Corvette and Fox body, well, make sure you tune in and see what's going on with project tax return. Anyways, that's it for day one for the Corvette. And we'll catch you back tomorrow.
That you can see. Of course, those are the ones that get in the frame. All right, well, maybe it makes sense here now. These ones that come straight through, they obviously bolt up through here.
Right.
Bolts are going up through this way. It's the bumpers that are, I guess they're going to slide in between the coils and the frame up here.
Yeah.
Get themselves out.
Through here. Well, I'll put some tape on the paint here, and then we can try running some stuff through.
You know, because this is all designed, it goes out through the bumpers in the back, and you've got the special brackets.
It's not that bad from here back.
It's just that, no, it's just that it's that one's not bad, but it touches up here. See, it's touching there.
The thing is, I could just take it down and they could just tweak
get
it
this.
all.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of shoddy looking here.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. And then, of course, they did this to balance the exhaust too, which is good. It's ugly, but it's
ugly but functional.
They should have brought this up like this.
yeah.
Or came down in here tight and brought it in this way.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I could probably get somebody to clean this up a little bit and just fit it a bit better. I'm not getting rid of it. It's going to cost you goddamn much money.
Centering.
Yeah.
Thinking even if we just kind of.
Yeah.
It's actually wanting to go up when you tighten it.
Well, it's just because of the way I'm putting the work on it. Yeah. Is it good?
I think so. You might have to stand back and.
At least it's staying in within reason.
It's down.
Well, I haven't done this side yet. One thing that I can say is that when you are putting back together a really nice old classic car that you're not trying to scratch paint, and more importantly, when you're putting back something together that you've never done it before, better yet, you weren't the one who took anything off of the car, it can be a pretty big puzzle. So those little teeth and just trying to get those all aligned in that grill yesterday was one battle, but honestly, the GoPro is really hard to do when you're unfamiliar with everything. So in 2 days, really not that much has been achieved because there's just so much fitting, finding, placing, double checking, and referring to the book and the manuals and everything else to make sure that everything is going on the way that it should. So it's taking a lot of time, and it's really hard to document stuff because I really don't know what I'm doing in a lot of cases. And that's the honest truth. So by, I guess, throwing up a bunch of footage, you just kind of see me bouncing around, checking the book, looking at other parts, this, that, and the next thing. So there really hasn't been much to show other than finding the right nuts and bolts and finding the right parts and putting them where they belong and tightening everything down. So this is pretty much where we got. So the bumpers have been installed. There's actually 2 brackets that my dad can't find. They're missing. He thinks they might have got mixed up in some other Chevy parts. That's why you can see a microfiber cloth on that side of the bumper. So there's a bracket on the back side that goes to that bumper down towards the bracket that comes off the main frame rail. So once those can be located, then those bumpers can be tightened up on that side. Otherwise, everything is pretty sturdy. It's just, you just want to make sure that nothing's going to scratch and wreck any paint. And got the license plate bracket and holder, everything put on there. Now, he did mention to me that there was a light little something that had tweaked this bar back in the past, so I had to do some creative shimming to be able to get that stuff to fit right. Now the reality is, back in '58, things wouldn't have fit that great to begin with. Just look at Fox bodies. Things really didn't fit that great coming from factory in the '80s and '90s. So there's a lot of trial and error when you're putting the pieces on and you're fitting things and you're trying to see if they fit and if it'll work. Cleaning up bolts and finding new hardware or cleaning the old hardware, so on and so forth. So really happy with the progress here. Really don't mind the chrome on the outer side of the grille now. Between that, the emblem, and again that windshield surround, I think it's going to look really good. My dad's happy with it, which is the most important part. I got the headlight buckets in, and can't put the headlights in until the wiring is run through the back side of the main housing here. So once that's in, then we can do the headlights and install the nice bezels that are painted body color on there. So left off today with getting the left rear bumper installed, and this guy was pretty tricky just because you have the main bumper support that bolts into the top of the frame here. There's a bracket down there that goes from there down to where the body mounts to the frame. And here's the old hardware. There's tons of these old spacers and shims, hardware and everything else. So there is a new kit, so like new rubbers. It's a matter of finding things, finding out what works in terms of space and alignment, because you want to make sure that everything is spaced out properly. And there's also the sleeve here for the exhaust, so that way the exhaust gets set up in the bumper properly and doesn't rattle around. So got that in place. New little rubber pieces here that go in where the brackets for the bumper go through. So this guy is on. It's all about figuring out what goes where first and how to do it. And this manual has been extremely helpful in terms of saying what parts go where, but it doesn't necessarily tell you the sequence in which you're supposed to install them. So here's a snapshot of the interior. He's got brand new fully upholstered seats. He's got all the door panels reassembled. Some of it's new stuff. Some of it is his existing pieces that were in actually pretty good shape. So it's going to be kind of a combination of everything, what was used and old in good shape versus some new parts. So that's where we're at.